All right. We decided we went and grabbed a beer, and then we were like, let's just have Dylan stay, and we'll do another 30 or 40 minutes same day.
Just another 30 or 40 all about Dylan.
Your favorite guest on the show ever. So I'm back, you know?
Yeah. You are back. You're in high demand, actually.
Yeah. There's so many comments on the last one that we just had to get you back. And we're like, hey, everybody wear the same clothes except for
subscribe. Hit that subscribe button.
Hell yeah. One time you told me a story about how when you guys were in like Poland and Germany or whatever, you went to like a nightclub.
Oh yeah. Fuck. What is it called?
It sounded so dope.
Berghain. We'll have to look it up, but it's one of the like most exclusive nightclubs or clubs that you can get into.
In the world. And I'm only learning about this more now because I'm seeing TikToks about it.
But I was like, yo, I've been there. And I got in. And
Where was it at?
It was was it Poland or was it? It was Berlin. It's in Berlin. That's what it is. I think it's called like Berghain or something like that. But me and Cassidy are just... Yep. We're just being tourists, walking around first international, vacation together and, looking for things to do. And what better than to just look it up on the internet and be like, where should you go? And we find this place. It's like the most sought out place to be. And we looked it up. We're like, sure, let's do it. We took a couple buses, walked through a couple dark alleyways, and we ended up in front of this like 300 person line trying to get into this warehouse. Oh, there it is. He pulled it up.
Oh shit.
And it's all graffitied. The windows are blacked out. It's out of this like,
dude, Berlin. When I went,
so fun.
Everything's graffiti. It's crazy.
I love it there. Like it's very artsy city. And I'm wearing like, again, like this 300 person line is like, everyone's dressed in black. They're ready for the club. I'm wearing like a fucking pink shirt and like skinny blue jeans and like white sneakers. And I had like my long hair at the time. I'm looking at Cassie. I'm like, we're not getting into this club. Like there's no way, because we looked at the Yelp and they're very exclusive. They turn away tourists. They turn away, like, I don't even know if this is true, but they turn away like certain races and stuff like that. Shit. And
Germany.
I don't know. And the people in front of us are like are British people, and they're talking about how like they know the DJ. I literally think that's the guy who let me in. I swear to God,
bro, that's the most Germany looking.
And he was scary, and so he was working the door, and we walk up, and I remember Cassidy going like, "Hey, like, don't say anything. Don't let them know that we're like tourists, or American." And they asked like, how many do you have in your party to come in? Yeah. And she looks at him and she threw up the German 2, not this. And I thought that was the smartest move because they count 1, 2, I think. Yeah. And we count 1, 2. So she threw up 2.
What?
And we didn't.
What? They do that?
I think that's the thing.
Remember in, what's the movie?
Yeah, Inglourious Bastards.
Inglourious Bastards. But there's like the most tense scene when they're underground in the bar and the American people are dressed as Nazis and they're trying to get it. And they're telling a story, and one of the guys goes three more drinks, and they do 3 like this, and that's how he knew they were American. And so I think she was like playing off of the movie or something, but she was just like, and we didn't say a thing, and the guy just looked us up and down, looked around, and was just like, go on in. And we walked in, and they take away your phones. They put stickers on your phones, make you lock up your phones. You can't take any photos inside.
What are the stickers for?
Like, I don't know, cover your camera, right?
Oh, yeah.
And like, if you end up finding your phone, like, I don't know, but they make you put it in a locker, and you go in, and it's just like, poof, 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 and smoke going everywhere. People are like, it's a 24-hour club. So there's like, it's open for like 36 hours or something like that over the weekends. Like it doesn't stop. So people can be there like all night and like wake up in the morning and still be partying and stuff. And it was the first time we got ice in Europe. They had ice in their cocktails and stuff. So we were stoked about that.
Oh, really? Yeah, dude, nobody does that. Huh?
It's not.
Or if you go somewhere and they give you ice, it's like 1 cube.
Yeah. You're like
dude, I need
this rum and Coke.
I need like my whole cup full of ice.
Yeah.
I want the crushed ice.
The Sonic ice.
Yeah, the QT ice.
Yeah.
But yeah, we get in and it was crazy. Everyone's like,
Is it like a sex club?
I didn't go to the bathrooms. I was a little nervous, and I was afraid I was gonna find like a glory hole or something. But I was avoiding the whole time. But we stayed there till like 7 a.m. in the morning, and we took the train home after, and we were like, that was the coolest experience. Like people were going to work as we were coming home from partying. It was like the craziest experience ever.
What time did you get there?
We got there at like probably like midnight, so we were there for like 8 hours or so. Yeah, we were
me and you always talk about like, hey, we want to do like a big trip together, but
come with us.
You guys do very different things than we do, because I'm like, oh, it's 5 p.m. We should probably go back to the hotel and lay down.
Nope. We walked in. No, first of all, you had to wait in a line of like 300 people, and they're getting pushed like away, blah, blah. Cool thing about, Europe and especially Germany is that you could drink wherever. So like you could run to a cart, grab like a beer and just hang out. And then once we were in, it was like crazy EDM music or house music.
Yeah, when I went to Berlin with the Main on tour with them, we took scooters to the Berlin Wall. Yeah, like from the venue.
Very cool.
And my phone died, and then I was in the back of it was like, dude, there was like 15 of us. It was like a scooter gang, just or on the birds. We're on these birds. Yeah. And my phone died, and I was at the back of the group, and then my scooter stopped working.
Oh,
it completely shut down, and they were like far ahead of me, and they were passing me, and I was like, I started yelling. I was like, no, don't leave me, because like my phone was dead, and I was like gonna be lost. You know what I mean? And Garrett heard me and like turned around, came back, and got me. But Germany was a wild experience. Like it was so different than here.
Do they party on tours like that, or do they behave themselves so they can play the shows?
They're behaved now. I mean, they all have like families. They're like all married and got kids and stuff now. But we did go to a big brewery.
Nice.
And, I thought of Ryan and Tanner immediately, because it was like, it felt like a castle that you were walking into.
Yeah.
It was a massive brewery, and like they drink.
Yeah.
It's
wild.
Yeah.
Dude, Europe is like, they just like, they don't work.
Yeah.
It's so dope.
I love it.
There's like, they have like literally, I think it's actual time. Stevie would actually know better than me, but I know in Spain, whatever, they have like a whole like 2-hour break in the middle of the day. Siesta?
Yeah.
It's called. Where they just go and they have like Amaro and like eat and take a nap or whatever.
It's kind of like how I want to live my life at all times.
That's how I've been living my life recently. This is Amaro, right? Traveling is so funny, because I had never been anywhere, and when I went to Europe, it's just like people are so gross. Like everywhere, you don't realize, but it's just like you're getting tourists from everywhere in the world.
Oh yeah.
And it's just, there's so many different like cultural norms that like I was in Rome, and we were sitting in front of the Pantheon, and we were having a meal and some drinks, drinking wine, beautiful fucking area.
Yeah.
And this table next to us, the lady just leans over to her like 8-year-old kid, and she goes like this, and has the kid blow his nose into her like hand.
Ew.
Or no, she
no tissue?
Even grosser. She had one of those snot blower things that like suck snot out of your nose, and she like, when the 7-year-old like leans over and does it, like way too old to be doing this at the fucking dinner table, and then she goes to the other kid and he does it, and she points at the dad, and he's like, no thanks. But like, they just suck their snot out like while you're eating dinner.
They do some weird shit over there.
They do weird shit.
After spending a month over there, after spending a month over there, I came back to the U.S. as the most patriotic version of myself that you've ever met.
I felt the opposite.
I couldn't be more happy that I live in America.
Damn. Yeah. I felt like I was being poisoned in America. I have stomach issues, right? And when I went to Europe, I was like, eating, drinking, blah, blah, blah. No hangovers, no stomach problems, no nothing.
Sense, yeah.
I felt like I came back, I had one beer. I'm not going to say the place because I don't want to ruin the reputation. But I had one beer at this one place here in downtown Phoenix, and I fucking had the worst hangover of my life the next day over one beer.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it was. I feel like I'm being poisoned.
We are playing with the food and the drinks here.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely have that shit right, because they're not allowed to put
the coffee too. They have some good coffee.
Oh my god!
And they have espresso machines everywhere.
Dude, they have those like little
in
like
gas stations. They got espresso machines.
Yes. Like I would do my laundry like in random little laundromats, and then I would get like an espresso when I was in Rome,
dude.
At this little like, like 4-way cross, but it looked like a subway like stop, but it was just like a coffee.
The Maine's
like,
tour bus
cart.
had an espresso machine on it.
That's so cool.
So you just wake up, get out of your bunk, and like, boop.
That's tight. That must have been a wild experience. A whole month there,
dude. It was nuts because I had never been to Germany before.
Did you pick up any
or
of the
been
language?
to the Czech Republic or no, barely.
Did you have a schnitzel?
My I believe so. I believe I may have had one. My most incredible experience when I was over there was when we went to Barcelona.
Okay, I've never been, but I want to go.
Yeah, and Ryan, did you go to that church?
Yeah, dude, La Familia.
The one that looks like
Sagrada.
a sandcastle,
Dude,
like slowly melting.
It's mind blowing how big it is.
It's the most beautiful building I've ever stepped foot.
That's the one they haven't stopped building, right?
Yeah,
It's
still under
called
construction?
Sagrada de Familia.
Yeah,
Nice.
dude, you get closer to it, and it just like you see it from so far away because it's so big. But once you're actually standing in front of it, it's like
Stevie, can you look it up?
Yeah, once you're actually standing in front of it, it's mind blowing.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's just so massive and beautiful.
Is that?
I mean, all that is designed by Gaudi, and so like all that stuff.
Yeah, that's it.
Done by Gaudi.
Look at the inside of it, bro. It's absolutely unreal walking inside of this thing. It like really.
It's a church,
It
or
makes
is it
you like take a deep breath when you walk inside. Yeah, it's a church.
Okay.
Great.
It's absolutely beautiful, man.
Barcelona was my favorite place I've ever
And
been
the
in my
food,
entire life.
okay, the best meal. I honestly think I can say it was the best meal I've ever
McDonald's.
had. No.
European McDonald's fucking
Dude,
slaps. All
I
right,
went-
sorry, I didn't want to interrupt.
No, it's fine. We went to this little hole in the wall place that had what's the kind of food they eat in Spain?
Tapas.
It was a little tapas place.
Okay.
But they just had rotisserie chicken that was dripping onto these potatoes, a little brick oven. It was a very, very small hole in the wall, like family owned spot.
Yeah.
And they had one TV hung up in the back of the restaurant
Yeah.
that was just playing Red Hot Chili Peppers music videos.
Oh, that's awesome.
And me and John, the singer of the main, and Garrett, the bass player, sat and we had a mind blowing experience of how good the food was.
Yeah.
Dude.
And to this day, we all still bring it up and talk about it.
Yeah.
That
It's
is
just like-
by far the best food I've ever had is Barcelona. Like I went to a few places. I went to one place that was like a really nice dining place in Barcelona, and that was one of the craziest like food experiences I've ever had. It was at this place called Fizzmuller. And it was just so incredible. But also
The hole in the wall places.
the hole in the wall place. I went to this place called Bar Cañete.
Yeah.
And actually, Ryan Naglich, the old bassist of Pacific Dub, and Micah Brown from Iration told me to go there. And I was like, all right. So we checked it out, and it's not necessarily hole in the wall, but it's small, off the beaten path.
Yeah.
And that place was just because
You go where the locals go.
right.
Is like the move, and sometimes those get overran by tourists. But when you find one, it's the move.
Dude, it was so much fun. I wish I could go now because I was in such a bad headspace when we went on that. It was pretty recent after Andy passed away, and I was just like, nah, my anxiety was bad. I hadn't done like any therapy or anything. You know, I was just like, I was a fucking mess. So
Well, I mean, I found out when I was in Italy.
yeah, that's right.
You had called me, and that was a bummer.
And you had just gotten engaged too, and I was like,
Yeah.
dude, I'm not gonna call him and be like, hey, congratulations.
Yeah.
Also,
But I mean, overall, Europe is the move. I feel like I will move there one day.
You would live there?
Fuck yes. If I had the money, if the
really,
job allowed it.
I love America. You know what? Maybe I went the wrong time. We did go in February, so it was like cold and rainy a lot of the time.
Okay.
I do remember when we went to Dublin.
Never been there. That sounds tight.
There's a famous bar that's like apparently one of the oldest bars in the world
Probably.
or
Yeah.
something, and it's called Temple Bar.
Okay.
And you walk down this cobble road or a cobblestone street, and it was just like the movies, dude.
Yeah.
Irish guys just screaming and yelling and chanting and singing songs, drinking in the streets.
Yeah.
Dude,
Dude,
it was like exactly what I thought I was signing up for.
Yeah,
And it was
yeah.
like, oh, this is it. And we drank Guinness. By the way, Guinness does in fact taste much better out
Okay.
there than it does here.
I don't like Guinness.
I like it.
I liked it.
But I would like to
in
try
that
a
moment.
traditional one.
Yeah, you ordered it at like 1 a.m. the other night, and I was like, dude, who drinks heavy ass beer like that at 1 a.m.?
Hey man, it's smooth. It's low calories.
At one point, remember when Andy went through a stout phase.
Yeah.
We'd sit
I
down.
forgot about that.
Dude, it was so fun.
It was weird.
It was weird. It was like
such a weird
summertime.
thing to just be
He's like,
like,
can I get a stout? And we're like, dude, what?
It's like
Yeah,
115
not in the
degrees
summer.
out.
No, it's got to be like fall, I feel
Yeah.
like. But I did order one the other night like an idiot, but
Yeah.
I just was like tired of whatever I was drinking, I think.
Good beers. You wanted a gross one to
Yeah.
cap the night off with.
A nice smooth nightcap of Guinness.
Dude, when I was in London, I was at when I got into London, that was the first thing I noticed was just like how actually old everything is, because America is so young compared to everywhere else.
That's what's cool.
They're like, when you're driving in, you're just like, holy shit.
They'll
like,
have
you see
like
the old buildings and you're like,
they'll have like an Apple shop like built into these like historic buildings, just glass window all of a sudden, and you're like, damn, like how did they get that going? But
that was weird about in Spain. There was like a cathedral. I think it's called I think it's the cathedral. But there was a fucking giant like Boost Mobile billboard right in front of it. So you're looking at this beautiful cathedral, and there's like people standing around, but there's just this massive fucking cell phone thing right there, and you're just like, fuck.
Europe's wild.
How do you even buy that? Like, that's so dumb.
Did I ever tell you that I went to the Vatican on Christmas Day?
Oh, really?
Yeah, when I was like 13, my dad had a whole family trip there and took us all out. That was the first time I was in Europe. And
is your family Catholic?
Grew up a bit, but I'm
Yeah.
not really religious anymore. Like I had to go through the whole RE thing, and I was like, what is this?
RE. I forgot about RE.
I only went for like the donuts and orange juice.
I did RE when I was a kid too. My mom
Is that short for something?
religious education.
Oh.
I
It's just
forgot
like they
that
taught you about the Bible or something. I never paid it. No, I don't know if we were all good at school, but that was just another thing that felt like school. And I was just like, I don't know if I'm vibing with this.
So you went to the Vatican.
Yeah. So like the crazy thing was my dad set up this trip. We went skiing and stuff like that. And we were in Venice, Rome, forget where else we went. But when we were in Italy, we went to the Vatican on December 31st and I saw the Pope. And we had to wait in line for to get in for Christmas mass. Like I had mass on Christmas Day, and we went in, and I remember like what was shocking was that like all the nuns were like pushing people to get a good spot. Yeah. And you were just like, as a kid, you were like, why are these nuns being so rude?
Aggressive,
like aggressive
security
and
guard
people
nuns.
were like standing on their chairs, like recording with their phone as the Pope walked in and did Christmas mass and stuff. And I was just like, I'm sure my dad wanted to give us a memory, but me as a kid, I was just like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Like, what is
We're
this?
like, let's leave.
Yeah. I was like, I want to go like eat like a chicken sandwich or something.
I didn't go to the Vatican. I didn't really want to. That shit makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Don't they have like a lot of historic documents and stuff?
That's what from the tours we did, I remember them saying that, but
yeah,
it feels like national treasure to me.
Yeah, it definitely like that's like as old as it gets.
Yeah, like they said
like,
they had the cloth that rested on his face, like in archives somewhere. And
oh yeah,
and
but
it
have
still
you
has
seen
his
it?
imprint or something. No, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I was like, and I was 13. I was like, I don't believe that. Like,
no, yeah, it's this like beat up cloth that has like his like Jesus grease all over it. They said, I don't believe it. If you take a look at it, it's not very believable.
But the cool thing is the art, right? Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Da
No, it's
Vinci.
beautiful, and there's so much history there, and it's deep rooted to like the world and just humanity.
Yeah,
It just organized religion shit makes me feel so uncomfortable.
agreed.
I don't know. I know. I'm sure it's beautiful. I'm sure it's like a great experience. I didn't go. Maybe I'll go next time.
I mean, when I went the second time, we were with a group, and I told everyone, I was like, I've already been there, done that. Like, I did it, and like, you could go. Like, if we split off in the morning, like, you go do your little. So Brett, when he went, they did a little tour of the Vatican, and they had fun, I think. But I was just like, once you see it, it's kind of like, that's what it is. Like,
it's like the Grand Canyon. I remember the first time I went to the Grand Canyon, I was just like, fucking serious? Like, this is what you look at?
I've lived here my entire life, and I've never seen the Grand Canyon.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Have you seen
I went as a kid.
Yeah. I hiked it when I was a kid.
Havasupai or something?
Yeah,
you have to dig the holes and take
I would
it
love
down.
to go. I want to go back. I want to do Havasupai. Sounds fun.
Yeah. There's
looks
like
beautiful.
there's a fishing spot in
Oh.
the Grand Canyon now. So I'm like thinking about like, dude, it'd be fun to like train and hike the Grand Canyon, then fish for a couple days and then hike out.
I've known some people who've done it.
Yeah.
I'm not a camper, dude.
No?
I'm such a bitch, dude.
You don't like spiders.
I don't like spiders. I don't like not having a shower the next day. I need a comfy bed to sleep in.
You seem like somebody that's completely fine without having a shower the next day.
I know, right? Like I look like I brew
it's all
beer.
projection.
I look like I brew beer. That's funny.
I just drink it. And yeah, I like a good cold shower. So
yeah, I mean, I like.
Are you on the cold,
I generally like
cold shower
hot.
grind?
right now I am.
You Wim Hoff. What do you know about Wim Hoff?
A little bit,
Have
and
you
I want to buy a fucking ice.
Yeah. But so Wim Hoff has an 11-minute video online that I do quite often.
I do it all the time.
I do it before every session.
Do you have like a place you do it at, or do you just?
I usually do it in the
tub?
studio by myself before a session starts, or I will do it in the morning.
Wait, you have a tub at your studio?
No, sorry.
Oh.
I
was like, you never showed me this.
No. I have been thinking about getting one though, because we have an industrial ice machine in the warehouse at our studio.
I've been getting ads, and I'm like, dude, how fun would it be to just own one of those things you could cold plunge? Like,
I was talking about the breathing exercise.
Oh,
he has a 11-minute guided breathing exercise on his YouTube channel, and especially over the last like year and a half last 2 years with all the stuff the band went through, it helped me so much get into a different state of mind before I had to.
It's kind of like meditation.
Yeah. It is, but it's deep breathing in and out, and it's 3 rounds of it.
Yeah.
And
so your mind can run if you want, but you just do the breathing exercise. Because my mind runs.
Well,
me too.
That's the thing.
And I feel like I can't meditate, right? Like
Austin Jones, we were in the studio. We were recording our album Sucker, and we had. Do you know Austin Jones? He was at the time he was assisting Matt Keller. We've actually had him on the podcast before. He works with like Belganas. He's out in LA now.
I think he's worked on some of our stuff through Matt.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
He's a great producer.
Yeah. He's like, you guys want to do a breathing exercise? And I was like, fuck no, it's bullshit. And then Sarah was like, yeah. And they all got in the room, and I was like, I can't be the only one not doing it. And I lay down and we do it. And I'm just like, damn, I do feel good after.
Yeah.
And then over time, like, I don't know, I just started doing it. I haven't done it in a while now, but like if I'm feeling extra anxious or something, like I'll just do it in bed. Like when I wake up and I'm just like, dude, I know today's gonna be a rough day or whatever.
How long of a session?
It takes 11 minutes.
Well, the guided session's 11 minutes. There's longer ones you can do too. I mean,
Is this the thing where you breathe fast and you take a big breath and hold it?
You go.
Do the whole 11 minutes in front of me right now.
We're trying
I want to witness this.
We just pull it up and all do it together. But then there's also box breathing involved too. And box breathing is when you breathe in, you hold it for about 10 or 15 seconds, and then you let out.
Yeah.
And then you do it again. But essentially, I mean, I know, I don't know if this is 100% true, but I've heard that when you are counting and paying attention to your breaths, you actually, like, your brain actually can't think about as many different things.
Okay.
So I think the breathing, not only is it doing physical stuff, like it's giving oxygen to all the blood cells in your body,
sure,
but it's also helping you become present in the actual moment of you just sitting and breathing.
Right. It makes sense on like a, science level. Like that's how I kind of think of a lot of that kind of stuff. Where I'm like, it feels a little hokey because people are like, oh, but my friend is a paramedic, and he's like, most of the time, all people need are fluids and oxygen.
Yeah.
It's like people are shallow breathers and they don't breathe as much as like they should. And I feel that myself. Like I don't take deep breaths naturally. Like I'm kind of, it's always quick, short breaths. I don't ever think about it. But when you do that, you're over oxygenating your entire body. And so like, you're going to feel good.
God, 11 minutes is quick too. Like I feel lazy as fuck.
I'll send you the video. Try it out.
If you're interested in learning about it, or at least reading about it, I think you should look it up tonight, because there's more intense versions of breath work.
Yeah.
And breath work is a very real thing.
Yeah.
I went to a somatic breath work class that I got invited to like a year or two ago. And I went into it thinking like, oh, this is bullshit. You know? And like the guy that was guiding it was very much so like, the wooden beads, the feather, has the whole thing set up.
Were you by yourself or like in a group?
I got invited by a guy that owned a gym, but I didn't know any of these guys at all. And so I sat in a big circle with like 10 different guys I didn't know.
Yeah.
All from different backgrounds. A couple of them like used to be Navy SEALs, a couple of like business owner guys in like Scottsdale. Just like random people that I just don't know.
Sure.
And we did a 30-minute somatic breathwork class with this guy. And at the end of the class, so you're deep breathing for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And at the end of the class, like 6 out of the 10 guys are like having like emotional
release.
like stuff coming out, like crying, like loud.
Damn.
One guy in the corner was like actually like not yelling, but like, yeah, it's pretty intense, dude.
But you have to like not buy in, but you have to like you have to like want to do it.
Well, I guess you have to
because I would like
you have to be willing to let go in the moment.
Yeah.
Because like, if you feel like you can't be vulnerable in that moment, like you're gonna like just shut down and not want to do it. But I personally had a very like intense spiritual experience during that class.
Yeah.
Like my dad came and like hung out with me for a moment, and I was like laying in the grass, like I was having a full on like psychedelic experience.
Damn.
And I was completely sober.
Yeah.
And then I started looking it up afterwards, and you know, I'm sure you've heard of like Buddhists or like people that meditate and achieve these like psychedelic states of consciousness completely sober just from meditation or just doing breath work.
Yeah.
So I don't know. For me, it was like I was 100% skeptic going into it. I was like, this is like, who is this guy? You know what I mean?
I don't know. I'm like too much of like a hypochondriac to like be in a room with people and then be like, I'm such a weirdo when I'm doing hot yoga. I used to do some hot yoga, and when everyone was like sweating and I could smell everybody, I was like,
about all those little things.
Yeah, I'm thinking about like, oh, I can smell that fucker's breath next to me, and I'm like, just like, oh, I'm grossed out, and like I can't focus or anything. So like, I'm terrible I'm in rooms like that. So
I've seen people break down in yoga classes too. It gets you to that state.
Because I had a class where they used to do a little bit of a breathing thing towards the end of it.
Yeah.
And I just remember being like, we're all just breathing in our farts and our coffee breath and like
it's Kundalini, baby.
I just think of all that stuff and I'm like,
well, that's the thing though, that class I was telling you, all those guys I was in that room with, they were not like spiritual hippie dudes at all. Like,
yeah, they went into it with the
and
good
so
mindset.
Everyone was into it just like, oh, sure, we'll try this. And we're kind of, I think most of them were doing it as a favor to the dude that ran the gym. They were like, sure, dude, we'll show up to your like thing.
Yeah.
And then it ended up being this like really cool experience where we all went around and like shared our experience at the end.
Nice.
And to be honest, it's kind of like a similar, I guess, you know, like an AA meeting where you don't know anyone there, but you're all sharing. And it's kind of easier, in my opinion, it's easier for me to share my like deeper stuff sometimes with people I just don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Absolutely. I mean, because there's no judgment from it.
Yeah, like when it comes to doing therapy or like talking about your trauma from your childhood or whatever, it's like it.
Not to bring back music, but it's almost, that's like my vibe is like if I'm playing for a bunch of random people, it's easier,
dude, so much easier
than to like look in the crowd and see like, you know, you mentioned like my family comes to all my shows. I'm like, it's so much easier to just look at people that I don't know and just perform and like do the thing that I like.
Over the course of KATASTRO's career, hometown shows have always been the highest level of stress that I've experienced before because all of our friends, our family, everyone we know are going to be there, and it's different when you're in a city where you're like, oh, I don't know these people.
You just go off.
I'm in Kansas, like let me go as hard as I can.
Yeah, it's fun.
You don't care if you like look weird or how you're acting. Yeah, no, it's crazy. Breathwork, I do like it. Like, it's definitely if I'm feeling like if I wake up and I'm just like not feeling great or like on the verge of like sickness or something. You know what I mean? It's just like I'm more tired or didn't sleep well, whatever.
Sure.
And I have to go do something important. Like I'll do it for 10 minutes beforehand.
So
is he kind of ramps you up?
Is he not the same guy? He does the ice stuff too,
he does.
Right? Okay.
Yeah, he's into the whole cold therapy and breath work and sometimes doing it in the ice baths too, I think. I'm not completely sure, but
no, I've been getting ads for like all these like saunas, in-home saunas and stuff like that. And I'm just like, not until I buy a house. But also like, I'm like, why don't I just go buy a bunch of cheap ass fucking bags of ice and fill my own fucking tub up with it? I'm like, why do I need to buy one of these things that like,
dude, some of them are like 10 grand.
Yeah, there's so much money.
That
I almost got lured into it off of fucking Instagram ads or something. I was like, yeah, you know, I'm thinking I wanted to start doing that. I know it's just going to be like on my patio.
It'll be like your air fryer.
Dust,
you know, like you do it for a week and then it just sits on your
have you done a legit ice bath for like more than 3 to 4 minutes?
Oh yeah, I used to. So believe it or not, I used to play soccer in college. So I used to do ice baths all the time.
Oh, sick.
In the training room. Yeah. So I love them. Like,
where'd you go to school again?
I went to a school in West Virginia called Bethany College.
Yeah.
I got a grant and scholarship to play sports out there. My freshman year.
Dude, your ID picture is
Nice.
fucking hilarious.
I don't have it on me, but I'll show
What
you.
position did you play?
I played center mid, but for college they drafted me for
Emphasis on the mid.
Yeah. Mid. For college they wanted me to play defense my freshman year, so like I held it down and I started the first 18 games of the season, and then I got injured and then I quit.
Did you think that at one point in your life was that like your career?
Correct.
So what was that?
That's how I started music. I left college and came back and lived with my buddy Eric Foltz, who we started the band together. And but essentially I thought, you know, I played soccer my whole life, played on clubs, high school, stuff like that, travel. And you know, when you're a kid, like you don't know what the heck you want to do when you go to college and stuff. And so like I got the opportunity, got an offer to go to the school in West Virginia. Went there, played my first season, got injured, and I, you know, took it as a sign. I was just like, again, I'm there in West Virginia. I don't have any friends aside from the soccer team. And I was like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. So I just came back, and that's when I began music.
What was that switch up like? Was it really hard on, I guess, your identity, and like was soccer heavily wrapped up in like who you were at that moment in your life?
It was, but I think the reality of it is like, if anyone plays sports, I feel like you would know if you're like gonna do that forever, like if you were good enough.
By the time I just felt like 16 or 17,
yeah,
you kind of start.
I just felt like I was like, I'm okay, but I don't know if I'm like, yeah, especially with the school I went to. I didn't go to like a D1 school. It was like
West Virginia, dude.
There's a D1 school, and I think they're D1 or D2 at WV, but not the school I went to. Yeah, like I think I just kind of was like, all right, I'll take this route, see where it takes me. And then once I got injured and I wasn't playing, I was just like, fuck this, I want to go home.
What was the injury again? His knee?
I don't even know what to call it. It was like a mid thigh injury, like a nerve injury.
Emphasis on the mid.
Every time you say mid, Ryan looks over at me.
Middle of my thigh injury. Basically, it was like the worst Charlie horse you could get. It hit, it was like a bone bruise, and my leg locked up straight. Like imagine like if you flex your leg and keep it straight and just flex all the muscles in your bone. Like somebody tackled me, hit a nerve, and it stayed straight.
It was like petrified.
Yeah. And so each day they had to like bend it and stretch me and then ice it. And then like until I could get full like contraction back into like my leg.
That sounds so whack.
And so I was just like on crutches and like fucking oxycodone like half my fucking freshman year. I lost like 30 pounds because I wasn't eating.
Yeah.
And I was
that's
just
a West Virginia way of life.
Yeah.
Oxycontin.
They drugged me up.
Have you seen the Wild and Wonderful
Unsupervised
Lights?
too.
Unsupervised oxy?
Yeah, it was just like I was a freshman, you know, I didn't have like parents being like, here, take it.
Yeah.
This
Like,
time
hey,
I was
don't
just
take
like,
all of them.
I know.
Yeah. Have you seen I think it's called the Wild and Wonderful Whites of West Virginia?
Is that a movie?
It was made by it's like Johnny Knoxville, Jeff
Is this the one about the incestual family?
Yeah.
Hey, is this the Tiger Belly dude?
No.
Or what's his name?
It was done by Jeff Tremaine from is it Dick House or is that what it's called? The Jackass people?
Okay, yeah.
I forgot he did that.
Dude, yeah, so
They're all like
that.
incest, right?
Hank 3 is on there.
Oh no.
Dude, yeah, they're all like inbred kind of.
Yeah, so those were my teammates on my team.
They go, dude, there's the best
kidding.
part. The best fucking part of this entire document. This movie is so fucking good, but the best one, they're all on like Oxy because everybody out there it's like a huge epidemic of, you know, just those pain clinics.
Yeah, I got it easy, dude.
And so one of the girls is pregnant, she has a baby, and they give her pain medicine, and as soon as they take the baby from her, because they like she can't keep the baby because she's who she is, she crushes up an Oxy on her like bedpan on like in the hospital bed, snorts it.
This is in the documentary?
In the documentary, she snorts the Oxy in her hospital bed right after giving birth and having the baby taken away from her. And then they go, and so they leave the hospital and they go to a Taco Bell and they see a family, like they're in the drive-thru of a Taco Bell and they see somebody they know. And they're like honking to get the family's attention. The family is in behind the glass and they're like, what's going on? How's it going? And she's like, she lost her baby. She lost her baby. And they can't hear it. And they're like, what? She's like, she lost her baby. And they just pull up to the thing and she goes, do you guys got any more of them fiestas? And then they fucking take off. It's just pure fucking chaos. The whole movie is so good.
Have they done a follow-up on that original documentary?
No.
Like where they are at today?
I don't think so. There's a guy, it's called like the white underbelly or whatever it's called.
I think it's like tiger belly or something.
No, soft white underbelly.
Soft white underbelly.
And this guy does like really cinematic, like quick documentary things. But there's
he's done stuff on like Skid Row, and then he also did that family in West Virginia.
Yeah, there's this family in West Virginia.
It's
one
the
of the
family
guys
tree.
just not this family, but it's a different one.
That's a crowded tree, dog.
Yeah, that tree's got a lot of branches and all start from the same spot.
Whoops.
But yeah, there's a family, and one of the guys, he's so like mentally fucked from having being inbred that he only barks like a dog.
Yes, I see
that one.
Those are the clips I see, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to watch this documentary. It would freak me out.
I watch it. And
it's hard to watch. I couldn't watch it.
I read this book called Hillbilly Elegy, and it's about a guy that grew up in West Virginia. Because like I would watch that documentary, and then I like was like, dude, West Virginia is like crazy, and it kind of explains the whole like how that happened and how the whole like Appalachia area got so fucked, and it's really sad and really
like
dark.
Don't meet anyone, just we got family members, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's just how fucking things were, and they're so
I'll tell you what, that's where I shot my first gun.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy how certain parts of the country are so just fucked up on the whole drug pandemic.
But dude, you think about it, like it talks about it in the book, but like the area was making a shitload of money from mining. So like hard workers moved there and built families, making good money working the mines, and then the mines went away. I believe that was the case here, but if not, it's something similar where there's like a certain industry that either became illegal or something happened where they took the industry away. And so these people, they had families of, tons of kids, and those kids grow up and they inherit this house and they can't find any work because the only jobs are like fast food. And
I'm assuming they're like off the grid too, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're in
to an aspect.
Right. If you're mining and stuff, you're far away, you're by like this mountain.
Yeah.
You know? And so it just kind of, the book Hillbilly Elegy just describes this guy's family, and like he became a lawyer, I believe, or something. But it just talks about how that like systemic thing, even in like white cultures, is like, it is fucked up, but it's really, I learned a lot, like just reading about it.
Watching the guy bark like a dog.
Well, you just see how that can happen, because you're like, how is that possible in America that
True.
exists? And you're just like, oh, this is years and years and years of like, the local government has no funding. They can't do anything. The police can't do anything. All there is to do is make fucking meth and do fucking meth. And
I think about it so often how just like by a luck of the roll of the dice, for whatever reason, I was born where I was born and into the family that I was born into. Like, I don't know.
You have to be grateful.
Dude, you have to take a second to just be grateful for what you have.
Yeah.
I think when we were younger and we first started like actually touring the country heavily, I began to realize more and more over the years how lucky I truly was as a kid.
For sure.
Because you see these cities that are just, there's no hope.
Oh yeah.
And like, I don't know.
No, I agree with that.
It's pretty crazy. Touring like opened my, I think all of us, like after the first couple national tours we do, we'd come home and be like, Arizona's pretty sick, dude.
Yeah.
Like Arizona rules.
really, after moving to California and then being like, dude,
that's how
Arizona.
Yeah.
Like coming back from West Virginia was just gloomy, snowy. It's things I've never grown up in. I'm like, where's the sun? And then coming back, I was like, I think I have my fair share of like, I've had friends move away to different states, and I'm kind of like, I don't know if I want to leave Arizona, like because of how it is. Like I like it.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, growing up here, I was like, dude, we need to get out of here. But when we did that, we went to California. I was just like, I cannot wait to get back.
Yeah. And now everybody wants to get in, dude.
Yeah.
Booming.
We need to stop them.
Get them out.
We were hanging out with Christian. He's like, all right, my ride's here. We're like, later. And then we're like, do you want to do another 40 minutes?
Is there anything negative you'd like to say about him since he's not here anymore?
He could be on time a little bit more on these new songs.
On these new songs. He's
I'm
been
just
playing
kidding.
a little bit behind
I give
the
him that
beat.
shit all the time. That's like my inside joke with him. He's always on time. He's fucking a killer drummer, so it's like unreal.
You just try and get into his head.
Oh, I do. I'm just like, oh, dude, I like that. We all did good, but Christian, you know, can you pick it up a
I
bit?
think you're a little off the click.
Just like try a little bit harder.
I wouldn't even fucking know, dude. I'm never on a click or anything. I'm just like, doing
Oh,
it by my
hey,
head.
I would like to publicly thank you on the podcast for doing Camp Fest with us.
Oh yeah, fuck
Because
yeah. I'm a camp counselor now.
I saw some video recently of that show and you crushed.
Dude, that was
good.
I
And it
blacked
was-
out. That was a fucking amazing.
It was so fun.
not like drunk, but I just when I performed with you guys, it was like
Do you know why we had the idea to
Keller told me it was him.
Keller called me.
Yeah.
Keller called me during he called me like a week before the Camp Fest rehearsals.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Hey dude, this might be a crazy idea, but like what if you had Dylan Fay just come out and just like literally be like a hype man for Nirvana and just get the crowd to go ape shit?" And I was like, that sounds awesome. And I called Ryan and I was like, dude, you should call Dylan and see if he's down. And I don't know. I just remember that being like such a fun moment in the set.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I was
he hit me up and
nervous
he's like,
as
"Do you want the
fuck."
one guy that you hang out with more than anybody else to come on stage for Camp Fest?" I was like, "Yeah, I think we should."
Well, the hardest part for me was like, I'm like, there's a lot of words in this song, and in this time frame, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do the verses, but I'll fucking do the chorus.
I remember you also wore an outfit that fit the washed album art. You were wearing like all red and white and black.
Yeah.
And it was just, I don't know, it was
Came out
perfect.
screaming. Yeah, there's good footage of that.
But also the rehearsals were so nerve-wracking because you guys were at Marquee Theater and you called me up and you're like, let's just run. And I think people have been meeting up at your studio rehearsing.
We were, yeah.
But I met up with you guys and you were like, let's do a run through. And like, I'm watching fucking Jared of Dirty Heads and I'm going, oh my God. I'm with all these like icons that I like grew up watching.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden Ryan's like, or I think it was you. You were like, do you just want to do yours now? And I was like, I was hoping to go last. I was like,
can you make everyone leave?
yeah,
First?
I was like so nervous. I was like, okay, sure. Like, and I don't know if you guys are going to like the way I'm doing it. And then we did it and you guys were like, you crushed it. That's all we need. And I was like, oh my God, I had been like sitting on my phone at home, like singing to the song for like a week straight, just trying to remember
No,
it.
dude, you showed up for us like a real homie. That was so cool, man.
That was awesome.
Hell yeah, man.
Dope.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming through for
Hell yeah.
part 2.
Part 2.
Love you.